Hello, my name is Buzz. I'm Will's first cousin, and I've been asked to give my remembrance to Will as we grew up together. I have to admit, we didn't spend a lot of time together, but we certainly spent time together. And I'm going to tell the story of one of those adventures we had. Very short adventure, but a memorable one to me. But before I do that, um, there's Will had sent me 3 questions that he asked me to answer. And I will answer the first one, and it's going to be part of my story. Bill had a vacation home, a lake at New York State. And they had a little cottage on that lake. And one time when I was 10 and Bill was 15 or 16, I was visiting them and wanted to go swimming. And Will's mom made him help me. And I'll get into that story later. But right now, what makes me smile, I actually have the questions on the wall behind me, my little cheat sheet. What makes me smile about Bill was something that happened during the swimming event. Now, we were walking down the pier, and there's a duck at the other end of the pier. And Bill just shakes his head. He says, "Damn, that duck's there." I said, "What's wrong?" He says, "That duck, every day I come here, he looks at me and says the same thing. He says, 'You have any duck food? Do you have any duck food?' Day after day. 'Do you have any duck food? Do you have any duck food?'" I am just so tired of him coming up to me asking for duck food. The last time I came down the pier, he went, "Do you have any duck food? Do you have any duck food?" And I looked down at him and I said, "If you ask me that one more time, I'm going to nail your feet to the dock." And the duck flew away quickly. But now the duck's back there. So we walked down the pier a bit, and the duck came up and he looked up at Bill, and I was a little scared. But all of a sudden the duck looked up at Bill and said, "Do you have any nails?" And Bill looked kind of puzzled and said, "No, I don't have any nails." Duck says, "Great, then do you have any duck food? Do you have any duck food?" I'm pausing while everybody laughs. Anyway, the next one is, how do you think Bill would like to be remembered? The next question. And I think that's the same as with everybody. We want to be remembered for the kindnesses we did, for the way we raised our family, for the character of our person. Because all of us are more good than bad. Well, at least most of us. So I think Bill would want to be remembered for how he took care of his family and how he overcame any problems during life. And that's all that we can be asked. All of us have more foibles than we have character strengths. And it is how the character strengths finally wins out that matters. The last question is, what is the image of Bill that persists? And I will tell you, again, when I was down at the pier, Bill asked if I would invest in his company. And he didn't quite tell me what his company did or what it made or how it was going to generate revenue. For goodness sakes, I was 10. I didn't know any better. And I said, "Well, what do I get?" He says, "Well, I'm going to give you shares in my company that when I become successful, you can use to get your profits." So I said, "Okay, I have $10. He says, "Great, that's enough for one share." Then, "Okay, how do I get my share?" He said, "I'll give it to you right now." And he reached up and cut a little lock of his hair, gave it to me, and he says, "When you need your interest back, come to me with that lock of my hair and I will give you whatever profit plus your investment back." I said, "Great." And I pretty much forgot about it. I still have that lock of hair. But anyway, the image that persists to me was Bill's absolute success at his company. Because as you see behind me, there is a picture of Bill's head, and he must have sold a lot of shares. So I invested wisely. So I think that's the image that Bill would want to persist, his success as an entrepreneur. So anyway, with all of those three questions out of the way, I will get into my little story about Bill and down the lake. So we were visiting, and again, I was 10 and he was 15 or 16, and I wanted to go swimming. And his mom told him to take me to the little bathhouse, help me change, take me to the water, let me splash around as long as I wanted, and then make sure I stayed safe. Well, Bill took me to the lake house, the bathhouse, told me to go in and change, and he gave me a bathing suit, and it was too big for me, but I cinched it up really tight, and it worked. And we're walking down the pier, and we had the little duck story, but we got to the end of the pier, and it's time for me to go swimming. Now, Bill knew a secret that I didn't know. He knew something about the lake water to which I was completely ignorant. It is that the lake water is ice cold in the spring, was when we were there. So he told me to do a cannonball. He wanted to see me do a cannonball. And I could hear him snickering. I'm going to get back at this guy making me give up my afternoon with my buddies to take him swimming. So I said, okay, Bill, no problem. That'll be a lot of fun. And I went back and went running and jumped as high as I could and grabbed my legs. Now remember, the water is what? 40 degrees? Really cold. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's Fahrenheit 40 degrees. It's mucho coldo, as we say in California. So I started going in the water, and I was almost in thermal shock. And Bill's still up there just laughing his butt off. And as I go deeper and deeper in the water, freezing more and more, and I'm saying, I will eventually get even with this guy. So I come springing up, and he says, well, how's the water? Fine, I fakely said. He says, great, see if you can swim out there. And I said, Bill, I think I had enough of the water. I'm coming up now. So I got out. And so my swimming time with Bill, the Joker, was probably 15 seconds. Anyway, that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Tanya, I want to say a few words to you personally. Anyone can listen. But God put us on this earth and gave us life. But He gave us one more thing that people seldom think of. He gave us a built-in time machine that He allows us to revisit anything that ever happened to us if we will just sit and dream. We can remember everything that happened today, yesterday, and a long time ago. All the joys of life are ours if we will just use our time machine, our memory. Just sit in a chair, put your head back or look out a window and dream. Dream about your time with Bill. Maybe when Will was a little guy and he came running up to you and hugged you around your neck for no reason other than he just loved you. And Bill was standing over there, big smile on his face. And you knew life was good. Life is still good. Good things will happen to you, just as good things did happen to you. Forget the bad. Forget what doesn't count. Remember, and dream. Just dream, and dream, and dream, and dream.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you. In my arms when I want you. And all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. Dream, dream, dream when I feel blue in the night and I need you to hold me tight whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine anytime, night or day. Only trouble is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I need you so that I could die. I love you so, and that is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream. Dream, 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 dream. I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine anytime, night